Hey, what's up, Internet world? Welcome back to another Saturday here at Shakedown News Live. We're going to have a good time today. We're going to have a great show today. I've got some great guests. We're going to be talking about some exciting new things that are happening in the world of live music. But first, per tradition here, let's talk about what happened this week and what's going on next week in live streaming. The We Are One Fest. I was really pleasantly happy, thrilled to be asked to participate in the We Are One Fest this week, which was a bunch of musicians and various people around the music business and world to talk about how we can all come together and be one to help us all through this current state of affairs. And if you Google We Are One Fest or find the Facebook page, you'll see the video. So that is that. Fish was at the Gorge on Tuesday night for their dinner and a movie. Great. I watched the first probably half of it, and it was really cool seeing Chris Kuroda's happy birthday to Kuroda. And they did announce that Wilson would be the official song played for the Seahawks because the quarterback from the Seahawks. So that was kind of like the highlight. And there was an interesting break during the Wolfman's Brother where they were in the middle of Wolfman's and all of a sudden it went straight into the jam and you missed like all the lyrics. But other than that, what I saw was good. If you haven't seen it yet, the Flaming Lips video from Colbert, from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, they performed a concert where the whole band and the audience were all in the big Wayne Coyne hamster balls, the big inflatable bubbles. It's pretty cool. It's up, it's on the YouTube. Go check it out. Coachella and Stagecoach got canceled officially. They'd been postponed till the fall. Now they are done till next year. I don't know if they've announced the new dates, but I'm betting they'll probably be about the same time next year as they are normally, right about now. Last night, the string cheese incident threw back to 2010 Horning's Hideout. It's nice to see that old cheese. I really dig it. It's a lot of fun to see the old stuff. Widespread Panic's been doing that, throwing back the old shows for their Sunday, Never Miss a Sunday show. And it's like love seeing those old Mikey shows. If you haven't been tuning in on Sunday nights for either the Panic shows and Friday nights for the cheese shows, of course you got Motor on Mondays, you've got Fish on Tuesday. There's no lack of stuff to watch if you're sitting at home. And that being said, let's move on and bring in our guests for today. I'm very excited that he agreed to do this. He's got an exciting new project we're going to talk about. But first, we're going to talk about what you really want to hear about, which is Pink Talking Fish and Particle. Let's say hi to Eric Gould. What's up, man? How's it going?
Going great. How are you?
Good to see you as always, my friend. We've known each other for a long time, and it's so good to see your face and hear what's going on, and find out what's going on with your new project. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but first we want to talk some Pink Talking Fish. But I feel like we should not leave Keith in the green room and just bring him out here and have him join in the conversation. So my other guest here with me from Spin Cycle Presents. You know him, you love him, you've seen him all around Los Angeles if you go to shows because he is everywhere. Mr. Keith Erickson.
What's up, buddy? Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Billy. What's up, Eric?
Hey.
Oh, it's good to have you both. Let's talk some Pink Talking Fish and Particle and all that. For those who are tuned in who aren't aware, Eric was one of the original members of Particle back in the day. One of the original pioneering electronic jam bands on the West Coast. You guys were doing it before anybody else was doing it, pretty much, right?
We were one of the first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there were others as well, but tell you what, it's pretty fun to be on the forefront of something. And I mean, there's guys like the Disco Biscuits and Sector 9 and the New Deal, they were all doing it,
Right.
around the same time as we were, either a little before, a little after, whatever it was. And but it's just such a cool thing to be a part of a fresh genre. And to do that, it's you don't really intend to do it. You just do what you do, and all of a sudden the energy is there.
Yeah. Well, like it was you and Darren and Steve Mollitz and well, first Charlie and then Ben after Charlie departed. But you guys did some stuff that I remember the first time I heard your Particle play. And I don't even remember what the year was, but it was something completely different from what everybody else was doing, which is great. And you left, when did you left Particle, what, 8 years ago, 7 years ago?
Less than that. It was, I left in 2014, I believe it was. And it was all very friendly. It was, Steve had been on the road with Phil Lesh for a good part of the year. And
I do remember that.
During that time, I was about to become a dad. And Phil got a new lineup, and Steve was ready to really tour horse Particle. And he gave us a call, was like, hey, let's do this. Let's go for it. Let's get on the road. Let's just, let's do the touring like we used to. And really, like, you're just fired up. And that was, I have 2 adopted children, and we had just gotten our first referral, and I just didn't know what it meant to be a dad yet, especially in general, but especially just in the live music touring scene. And so I said to Steve, I'm like, man, Particle needs to do that. Absolutely. But I can't go with you. I can't go on the ride this time around. And so, we worked it out, and I had the idea for Pink Talking Fish at the time. And I thought it was, I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought it was just going to be just a fun project, like a pet project for me that just I could just geek out on writing these crazy set lists and perform them to whatever level it was. And little did I know when you walk through a door, man, tell you what.
Well, and you've built something that people love. I mean, who would have thought, that putting Pink Floyd, Talking Heads, and Fish together, it seems like an odd stew. I mean, yes, they're 3 great bands, but I in my head couldn't fathom how that would go together, and then I saw you guys do it, and I'm like, holy crap, it does work. Yeah, and it's great because you don't just do them like straight out. You blend
there's so many different combinations. This type of concept, it still is going in new directions that we weren't even thinking of when the band started. And so that's what's so cool about it. I mean, it's basically, it's a never-ending web of setlist geekery. It really is. And what's great about it, and to me, the heart and soul of what this thing is, and the reason why I think so many people have gravitated towards it, is that we're offering these songs, these collections of songs that people already know and love, but we're doing it in a unique way that is fresh for people, that they haven't, they're hearing these songs in a way that they haven't experienced them before in general. And that's the X factor on this, if you call it that. And it's the thing that makes us a little bit more than your average tribute band. There's originality in what we do with our show design and how we take the songbooks and how we interconnect them and that part of it is our creativity, is our ingenuity, and that's what our fan base has gravitated toward. That's what makes us so happy. But I probably wouldn't be happy being in a long-lasting group that's just straight up tribute. It's great, and the tribute scene is amazing. I mean, the players in the tribute scene, I love it because there's not having the I'm writing songs piece of it there, and just taking the music of something, an entity that you love so much and that you're so into, and that you taking it seriously and finding the joy in it. The tribute musicians out there that I've connected with, and it's its own subculture, and it's awesome. Absolutely love it. And what's nice for us though is that we have like this spice of originality between the lines of tribute. So it's something different, and it's great. And yeah.
Oh yeah, it is not a it's an experience. It's not a tribute. It's just it's because you brought in the whole package, because you have like an amazing lighting designer in Vin, usually. And
Pugliese.
Okay.
Pugliese. You're getting confused with Darren Pugliese, the drummer from Particle.
Oh, right. Pugliese. Pugliese, yeah. And you've gone all out to try and recreate that, or not recreate, but create a whole new experience for people. It's really cool. I know what Dave Abear's doing, that Dead. It's a Dead blend with somebody.
Steely Dead.
Steely Dead. That's it. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's cool that it's kind of maybe you've started a wave. I don't know whether it's been in people's heads before.
We didn't start it, but once again, we were at the fore. You know, we were one of the first, and we were probably there were a couple bands out there that were doing, I call it hybrid tribute fusion. That's I kind of coined that phrase, and it just makes sense on there. But there were a few bands out there that were doing it before us. I think we were probably the first ones to really get out there on a national level, like on a large scale national level.
Right.
So some people might see us as the first, but I won't take. I didn't know about the other bands doing it until after we started, but I won't take credit for being the first.
All right.
In Colorado, just to name a couple, Dead Fish Orchestra. Those guys are awesome, great friends too. And Dead Floyd. Both of them, they were doing it before PTF started.
Oh, okay.
So, all right.
Yeah.
Dead Floyd.
Yeah, because usually there's cover bands and then there's tribute bands, but usually don't get like this very specific. We only cover these 2 or 3 acts, and I thought that was really what was really cool about Pink Talking Fish. And I knew about Dead Fish Orchestra, but they, Dead and Fish, they go together like peanut butter and jelly, So that was what was cool about Pink Talking Fish is you guys were able to, kind of go some different directions that make sense, but aren't necessarily like that peanut butter and jelly combination. So I really like that coin there, hybrid tribute fusion. That's cool. I'm going to use that again.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, since we've talked it up so much, I think we should throw it to that video that you recommended. And watch a little PTF, and then we'll come back and talk some more.
So
do you want to set it up?
Billy, you have the full intro on that thing? On that?
I have the YouTube video, where you
okay, so people aren't saying what the hell is that. I gotta talk a little bit about the intro of that.
Yeah, you want to set it up?
So that was a really fun show that we're about to do a track from, and we were just getting a little crazy on it. So we're about to play Camel Walk, but when we started this song, Ricky, our keyboard player, he jumped out front, and you'll see, and all of a sudden just started doing the Camel Walk dance that he just made up on the spot. And we got into it, and we started talking about it, and all of a sudden he and Cal are doing it. And so there's an extended intro of Camel Walk, and that's just us just being just ridiculous, and I thought it could be a fun one for this show.
Yeah, so let me cue that up, and we'll get it going here in just a sec. All right, this is Camel Walk from where was the show?
That was from Fairfield, Connecticut, and at the warehouse there. Yeah, so it's such a great room. fantastic.
Right on.
We love it.
All right, let's see some Camel Walk, and then we'll come back and talk some more with Eric and Keith. Can you guys hear it?
Hey everybody. There's a new dance in town. It's called the Camel Walk. Ricky's gonna teach it to you. See, you get down like a camel, like you got a hump on your back. And then you got to strut. Strut that way. Then strut the other way. Strut side to side. Don't fall off the stage. Uh-oh. Oh boy, Camel Walk. Not too shabby. Hey, let's try to see everybody out there doing the Camel Walk too. Come on now.
Good stuff.
There we go. Turn my mic back on. Camel Walk. Yeah, that was great.
with the new post meat stick dance craze.
Right, for sure. Did it catch on?
Well, you know what's funny about that is we shortly after that show we designed a kids show, a PTF for kids.
Nice.
And kind of spelled like pigs, 3 different ones. And so we have incorporated the Camel Walk dance in our kids show. And so we have Ricky pop out front, and we do just like he naturally did there, and we get the kids doing the Camel Walk dance with us. So yeah, it's just a fun little addition that we get there. It's nice.
For those who don't know, who are the rest of the guys behind you? You got Ricky and
so Richard James on the keyboards that we were just talking about. We got Zach Berwick on the drums and Cal Kehoe on guitar.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Cal's from, is he California? He's a California guy, right?
His brother lives out there.
Oh, right.
And yeah. I mean, maybe you just thought that because of the name.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. No, I remember at a show, some of his family were there, and they mentioned they were local, and we were talking backstage. And
yeah, his brother's there.
Got it. Okay. Well, what was I going to say? Pink Talking Fish. I don't know. It just escaped me. You're on the East Coast. You're in New England, New Hampshire.
Yeah, we're a Boston band. We're out of Boston.
Boston. Right. So, but you do come out here, and I think the last time I saw you out here was at the Terragram.
Keith's been involved.
Yeah, that was a Keith show, right? Yeah.
Well, I helped with the promotion. Yeah.
Yeah, you promote a lot of.
Yeah, we bring Keith and Spin Cycle on board on our Los Angeles shows. I mean, he does such an awesome job with Spin Cycle and just getting the word out, and it's great. And I mean, I know what it's like to build the band around the jam scene in Southern California. It's not an easy thing to do as a local act, but when you do get that group of people who collect towards the joy of that music, then the Southern California scene is so amazing. It really is. I mean, I will forever call SoCal my home, and what happened with all the particle people out there, man, I mean, just forever they're in my heart, and they're some of my best friends to this day. And so I love the whole SoCal scene, and it's been great bringing Pink Talking Fish out there. And what's nice is, there's been a lot of the particle people who've come out, and it's felt like a reunion for me when I brought PTF out there. But then what's great is, Keith has such a good line on what's going on with the scene out there now, and he's brought in, like spread the word so that all those people have been able to come and enjoy us too, and it's just really great. It's great working with you, bud.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's great working with you too. I appreciate the kind words. Appreciate that.
How is it polarizingly different between the East Coast and West Coast? Like, I know East Coast, like I grew up in New York, so I know you can hit a lot of different markets in the matter of a couple days. Where California, you can spend 5 days, you never leave the state.
Geographically, it's infinitely more convenient to build a band and have it be a home on the East Coast. I mean, with touring with Particle, I mean, man, you start off a national tour in Southern California, and you gotta drive through Death Valley to get anywhere. I mean, you got to drive hours. You got to basically take a day.
Right.
Maybe there's one place you stop on the way for it, but you got to get out there, and then you got to get home. With the East Coast, you can do what I love about this, especially being a dad, like I was telling you about. I can tour with PTF from the Northeast, and I can still hit shorter pockets nationally, and I can still make sure that I have time to have some semblance of a regular life with my family as well. And I really feel good about being able to tour it in that way, so that the people who are on the road with me through Pink Talking Fish, they also get to have that. sometimes there's lessons learned, there's wisdom learned in your past. And I mean, man, I used to tour with Particle, 10 plus weeks at a time sometimes. And it was awesome, but it was a little much too. We definitely toured more than the average bear out there.
Yeah. And to hit multiple major markets on the West Coast, you're 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's a bear. I mean, yeah. And like you said, there's a lot of deserts to drive through and snowy mountains and,
But you know what?
Yeah.
I'll take desert driving. It's
not too bad.
Driving.
It's
Love it.
Pretty beautiful. And also to chime in on Southern California and just, how it's different from the East Coast. But when we all know people, here in Southern California, there's 20 million people that live in Southern California. It's just this immense population of people. And it's really interesting. When I moved to SoCal in 2004, I come from the Midwest and I lived in Florida for a number of years. I was heavily involved with the jam band in my college days and came out here. And it was like, I must have hit this weird pocket that was like I think it was like kind of the end of the Particle and the Wagatail days. And I arrived and I'm like, where's the jam scene? There's nothing going on here. And so that's kind of how I created Spin Cycle. And I just realized like over time, it was just like, you just gotta keep poking around, like literally Shakedown News. I mean, Grateful Dead, you just gotta poke around. And in this amazing, huge place that we live in, that's so beautiful. You think that your people aren't around, they're not here, but they are. There's just so many people you have to weed through to find the good ones and to find your community. And so I think that's one thing that we've been able to establish over the last 11 years is being able to build that community. And so people don't have to work so hard to find the music and the people that they want to hang out with. It's there, it's set up now. And I think that's what's really neat about what we've been able to accomplish with Spin Cycle is when Pig Talking Fish comes through, or even the lower bands, the bands that play at the local bars that come down from Central California or Vegas, or more of the regional bands that people don't know about as much. You can just look to a promoter, looks at that community, and just be like, if that's going on, then let's go check them out. It's got to be good. It's got to be in my wheelhouse. And I think that's what's been really neat, and getting to work with me and Billy Sunday have done probably 100 shows together over the years.
We've done a few, yeah.
Yeah, many shows. So that's been cool. So although it's not the powerhouse of Colorado or the East Coast of the jam band scene, there are really great, amazing people and really fantastic bands from this area too. It's just so spread out. It's much more difficult.
I mean, we can see it, man. I mean, I remember back in the day when we were just starting to build, and we're talking, 2000, 2001, and we would see how the people we would say, oh yeah, it's a difficult market to build locally, but we would see when that right act would come to the Wiltern or to the Ford, then this amazing scene, this amazing jam scene was there, when Fish would come through and play, and play Ventura or Irvine or whatever it was, or when they did the Greek, it's just, you see where it is and you see how it is. It's just, there is that element of, you got different pockets of people who live in different areas, and they might not, it takes a lot to get them to travel, all into one group. And so, but once you get a connection within there, the scene is so rich in Southern California, really is. And so responsive in such a great way.
Right on. Yeah.
Well, back in the to go back to Particle days, you guys were the ultimate after party band. You guys kind of owned that time slot where if a big band would be at the Wiltern or pick a big venue in town, you guys always seem to rock that after party, Particle style.
Well, we did something great with the Wiltern. We had Atlas Supper Club right next to it, and is that still there? Or no?
It's a different. It's not. It's a restaurant or something. Now.
Yeah,
I wish.
That was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Because, you would get a band come who's coming back then. I know Humphreys is playing there now. They were just coming up with us back back at the time. But like whoever it was, like if Widespread Panic was coming there or something like that, then Atlas Supper Club was this stage literally connected to the Wiltern. It was right there, and so it was so convenient, and we did a lot of shows there, and it was just like this like fun slinky place, and yeah, we had a blast doing that. Obviously, I mean, we were born, our first gig was a Fish after party after the night after their first hiatus on October 7th, 2000. And so that's you know, we were born, Particle was born on an after party, and nice. So we definitely embraced that, and we, you know, and our music was just perfect for it, because it was just this high energy, genre fusing thing that was just danceable and fun, and people could lose themselves. And so, so it just works great for after parties.
Didn't you guys play on a boat?
Yeah,
up in like Santa Cruz? Is that right?
No, San Francisco.
San Francisco. That was the first show.
Yeah. Was October 7th, 2000, and Fish went on hiatus for the first time after their final show in Shoreline there. Right. And we had no one knew who we were. And it was our debut, and we went under the name Metric at the time. And we knew 5 songs. We wrote 5 songs. We made it last for close to 3 hours. And we just locked in on a groove. At the time, our guitarist, his name was Dave Simmons. He sadly passed about 6 months into our band, and Charlie was our second player, our second guitarist. Not a lot of people know that, but he was amazing. He was a combination. I would call him a combination of Jerry Garcia and Dwayne Allman. Just one of the most soulful players I've ever played with in my life. Just to this day, his music is just within me. The inspiration from playing with that guy. But anyway, we had 300 people from all over the country that were on this boat after Fish was done for the first time ever, and just saying, "What the fuck am I gonna do now?" Right. And all of a sudden we're here, and we just get people dancing and get people having fun, and not thinking about the fact that the boys are going to be back whenever they're back, who knows, or not, or what. And we all just had this awesome connection. And from that point, we bought a van. We went out to where those people were in different spots around the country. And we hit the road, and we didn't stop for a long time.
Wow.
That's how Particle was born.
Well, I always like to ask this of musicians: is favorite place to play in the country?
Loaded question, because there's no one. You know, what are you talking about?
I don't mean town. I mean venue, because the venue's cool, or you like the venue, you like the people, you like the, whatever.
So you're talking about favorite venue to play?
Yeah, venue. Yeah, I'm not gonna single out of like.
Yeah, there is no one. There is one. So I'll just
top 5.
Let me name a few in Southern California.
Okay.
I will forever say Winston's. Winston's was a huge part of Particle's career. We did it. We've had amazing shows at Pink Talking Fish. I think we've sold out every single show we've done there. Mm-hmm. And the energy in that room is just bananas. But we always said with Particle that even if we got to arena or stadium stature, we would always go back and play Winston's. And so we love that spot. In LA, there's some amazing venues. I mean, the Fonda is just such an awesome spot. We did when we debuted our new lineup, we did a DVD there with it. And when we introduced Scott Metzger and Ben Colby as our guitar players, and we had Robbie Krieger, Joe Satriani, Black Alicious, and DJ Logic.
Hell yeah.
And we had other guests too. It was a blast.
Is that show available for download or watching on YouTube?
Out there. And I mean, the energy in that room was just nuts. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
great venue.
Venues for you. And so I'll leave it at that.
All right, cool. I won't ask you where the least favorite places to play. So you have we're into the second. We're coming into the second half, and I don't want to get too far along without talking about your new project, which is Curbside Concerts.
Yes.
A brand new, and you both are involved with this, but let me just start with the video of you introducing it.
Great.
And then we'll talk about it. So hold on a second, folks. Let me cue this up. And share audio. And then we'll be back.
My name's Eric Gould, and I'm a bass player. I perform in the band Pink Talking Fish. I've also performed in the band Particle. Curbside Concerts is a platform that is bringing live music back face-to-face in a socially distant, acceptable way. This is so great because people can now experience face-to-face and feel that energy when someone is playing music and performing, and you have that right in front of you. And that is something that we've been missing, and it's something that is going to be such a force of positivity for everybody, for artists and for music lovers alike. I hope that people all around the country can experience the joy through live music that we are offering with Curbside Concerts.
Curbside Concerts. This sounds like, when I first saw this popped up on my radar this week, and saw that you were affiliated with or a founder of, I thought, wow, damn, that's a great idea. It's like Uber Eats for music. Like you can, hey,
well,
give me a pastrami on rye and an acoustic guitar player.
yeah, that's very much how the website is set up, and we make it really, really user friendly for music fans. And let's we'll take a step back on that for a sec. This whole thing came up. I'm not going to take credit for the idea. There's a venue owner in Colorado who thought of this idea, and he built the website with his team, and he launched it, and then he brought me on. He told me about it, and we joined together as partners for this to take it out nationally. And because we're living in such a crazy time right now, and the fact that what COVID-19 did and how it just stonewalled live music face-to-face on it. I mean, the live music scene has done such a good job in the webcasting world. Keith's one of those that's really taken the ball on that. And Keith, I know you're going to talk about that in a little bit. But the webcasting world's done great, but people have been missing that energy. There's this invisible energy out there that when you're actually in front of the players that are performing, that it's a connection out there. And people have not been able to experience that. And even now there are some things happening. There's drive-ins. There's some states where they're approving public gatherings for 500 people. There's some venues that are opening up and doing it, but that doesn't mean that people are going to be ready for it. That doesn't mean there's a lot of people out there who still feel that they need to stay socially distanced. Mm-hmm. And this is a solution for that, where it's a mutually agreeable safety arrangement where artists can come straight to your home and they can perform for you right in your driveway at a distance, and that's the way that it goes. And it's basically just music fans and musicians saying, all right, let's do this, but let's be cool. Let's make sure that we are adhering to the safety that we've all worked so hard throughout these past few months to make happen in the first place. Why screw it up now?
Yeah.
So that's a big part of what this is. And like I said, we made it user friendly. It does work like Uber Eats. You literally put it in. You put in your zip code. You type it in, and artists in your area can pop up, and you can check out their pages. You can read their bios, watch a video, and then you check out the calendar. You see something that works for you, and you request a show, and the artist can and the artist can choose to accept it. Once the artist does, they work it out with the deal within it, and then the artist comes right up. Got an extension cord running from the house right up to where the artist set up. There's solo artists, there's duos, trios, there's full bands that are doing this. But
DJs.
What DJs?
DJs?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's comedians that are starting to get involved on this too. It's
no kidding.
Music. And so it's. I'm so excited about this because it's a way for it's just a way to ignite joy into the community, around the country. And so a great thing that we did here is we reached out. The artists are going back and being able to do what they do. The music lovers out there are being able to experience concerts. And I have formed a team, and it's still forming. There's still people from around the country that are joining me on this, a team of ambassadors who are spreading the word to their areas so that we can make sure that musicians and music fans alike know about this and giving them an opportunity to experience this. And so, Keith is our Southern California ambassador. He's working, within Los Angeles, and he's doing an awesome job spreading the word as he does. And we have people, and a lot of the times it's promoters like Keith, or booking agents or artists who just know about the scene out there. Some managers are involved. So it's great because there's a lot of the connectors out there, like I said, promoters, booking agents, managers, they're out of work too. They got stonewalled as well on this. And so it's an opportunity for them to get involved and for them to be able to still be active in making these happenings go. So I'm so happy with what this is because it's a win-win for everybody on all ends here.
Sure.
Totally.
You have this isn't just local local acoustic acts. You have some big bands that are participating in this.
Yes.
Name a couple big. Can you share with us some of the
sure. And
big touring acts that are just
there's a lot of
on board.
national artists who have joined. Some are full bands and some are just members of.
Got it.
Just in Southern California, Joel from Humphreys McGee, he's available to come out and perform keyboards and sing some songs. You can do that. You can do that in the LA area right now. You can get Joel to swing on out there and make that happen. Up in Vermont, you get Rob Compa from Dopapod. He's able to come out and play for you. In New Haven, Connecticut, Tim Palmieri from Kung Fu, Fuzz from Deep Banana Blackout. These guys are doing it. Down in Asheville, North Carolina, you got Adam Chase lives down there with Jazz's Fish and James Brown Dance Party. He's putting together these awesome collections out there. In Memphis, Tennessee, the guys, the trio that's there from Southern Avenue, they're doing their thing. And so there's and more are happening in different genres too. And it's just awesome. In Denver, Colorado, you got Sean Eccles from Andy Frasco in the UN. He's doing his thing out there. Marcus Rezak is doing his thing. He's he's a Southern California guy too. So we're also going to have some of these artists who are starting to travel. We're going to have them be exclusive curbside artists if Marcus is coming to Southern California, for example. And so many people love Marcus in SoCal. So if he comes down there, if he comes down to SoCal, then we're going to make sure, and Keith will be very helpful in this, that we're going to do a blast out to the curbside people who have hosted shows and just out to the scene in general. Hey, Marcus is here for a few days only. And so you can get him to come to your door and play for you. Let's do this,
And go ahead, Keith.
I was just going to say, to go off what Eric's saying just a little bit more, is, it's not only the big nationally recognized artists that are involved here. You have your local artists, you have your sort of regional artists, and so you have different, skill levels that are at different price points for the consumer, or we call them the hosts, the people that are throwing the parties. And then just so it's not just the jam band scene. It's like we mentioned DJs, that could be top 40, that could be, house music or techno. It could be country, hip hop. So we're really right now we're just assembling a really amazing roster. And then, literally just started a couple days ago. So really the roster's really just coming together right now. We're just barely starting to get the word out to host, but I think in the next couple of weeks, once the roster really comes together and the hosts, we start getting the word out there that these people are for hire and they'll come to your house and put on an amazing show, and you're supporting local live music at all different levels. I think that's all, just really important to know. And it's happening nationally. I mean, like he was just naming all these different cities. I'm just, I'm signing up people here in Southern California, but there's ambassadors in Atlanta and Portland and Chicago and all the different areas, all the major cities and different regional areas around the country where this is happening. So it's going to be really exciting to see where this comes in the next couple weeks and months and years. Even when COVID is gone, hopefully COVID's gone sooner than it isn't. We'll see in the coming months that there's another wave or what's going on with that. But I think that even, after down the line, this will be a kind of a unique, unique way to have really cool musicians just come right to your house and perform for, your immediate family and friends and your neighbors. And, it's not just for like rich people. Like if you can gather your neighbors together and everyone kicks in, $50 or $20 or whatever. I mean, you would definitely go to a restaurant or go out to see music and easily throw down $100 on a night of drinks and music and whatever. So if you think about it that way, it's really just, it's not that crazy expensive. And again, you really are supporting the local musicians and the scene and just bringing people together, which is what it's all about.
For sure.
Yeah, phase one of this is the social distance safety. Phase one of this is that. When the world opens back up and we're through this, there's still going to be a place for this, for curbside concerts. And this can turn into it being more backyard parties, or if it won't be for you guys, but when the weather gets colder in some parts of the country, then people might come into do some living room parties or whatever it is. The other cool thing about this is for national artists out there, and Keith, thank you for saying about the local end, because I mean, so many of the local artists who made their living off of going and doing, weekly jazz shows or weekly singer-songwriter stuff, that artist who's playing every Thursday for trivia night, and they're missing out on their livelihood. And then there's other people who would go to trivia night every Thursday who are missing those songs, and now they can say, oh, Johnny from Trivia Night is a curbside concert artist. I'm going to bring him this Thursday, and me and my family will play some trivia. We'll feel that energy again. But as this thing goes, national artists are still going to be able to utilize curbside. If they're playing a festival in a certain area, then we're going to work with them to maybe come a day early and do some curbside shows. If
That's great.
Even if let's just say if Andy Frasco in the UN is playing at the Terragram or something like that, after sound check, maybe Sean goes out and does a quick curbside for someone between sound check and showtime or something. Wow. You never know. Like there's some fun things that can happen around.
Yeah.
The potential is endless. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It doesn't have to stop when COVID does.
That's right.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Excellent. Keith, let's talk some Spin Cycle, because we got about 20 minutes or so left. And I don't want to miss out on talking what you've been doing and what you have coming up and all that kind of stuff. So you do Psychedelic Sundaes.
Sure. Thanks, Billy. Yeah. I think a lot of the people tuning in know about Spin Cycle Presents. And, for those of you that don't, here's the really brief recap.
The footnotes version?
Yeah, I started Spin Cycle Presents back in 2009 after needing a lack for building a community of jam band people. And it's been a really just grassroots, slow-moving movement of just, meeting one person at a time and building a community of folks. And it's really derives all from, the big boys of the Dead and Fish and that scene, but stems down to all the all the cultures of music and genres of music that stems from that scene. And I think we all know what we're talking about here. And basically, once the COVID hit back in, it was literally the day before Humphreys McGee was supposed to play at the Wiltern, and I also had a killer after party lined up with Red House Productions over at the Mint that was going to be like, oh my God, it was just like members of String Cheese and Humphreys and Suicidal Tendencies and Wolfpack. And it was just like this insane all-star lineup. And the day before, they're like, everything's canceled. And we were all just like lost it. And I think with most people in the music industry, everyone just kind of felt like they got slapped in the face or knocked down to the ground. And it's kind of been like that for the last 3 months. And, so with no income and sort of nothing to do, it's kind of like, well, what's the next move? What are we going to do with our time? And, as Eric mentioned earlier, it really has been the live stream world. The live stream world has come alive. And I, besides doing an occasional live stream on my phone at a show that goes out to Facebook or whatever, I never really knew that much about live streaming. I mean, it still was pretty new. And I think we've all, any one of us that are promoters or creators, we, a lot of us have really dived into this live stream world. And I've learned so much. And in the beginning, it was like, put a gun to my head. I'm so frustrated. I don't understand what an encoder is. And I don't understand multi-streaming and like learning about all this stuff. So anyway, I just decided to power through it. As a guy who needs to connect people and put music out there into the world and be able to help, the community of music lovers and musicians. As a guy who needs to connect dots, I just decided, hey, I got to learn this stuff. We got to push forward. We got to keep doing something. And so Psychedelic Sunday is a term I coined and made up several years ago when we were doing Sunday shows here in the Southern California region. I did some with, again, like Chris Myers from Humphreys. That was the first ever Psychedelic Sunday show that we did at the Moroccan Lounge. And then I did a series of them at Harvell's in Long Beach. And it just kind of makes sense to use that term and that series name for the live stream series. So we started doing every Sunday starting at 4:20 Pacific time. I put together anywhere from 1 to 3 acts. And like this Sunday, tomorrow, we are actually starting a little early tomorrow for the first time. It's going to be 4:00 Pacific time. We have Zach Nugent, who used to play with Melvin Seals and JGB. He's going to be starting off at 4. And then I have an amazing artist from the Chicago area that I'm blanking on. Neil Alsey is playing at 5:30. And then a local father-daughter duo that's playing at 7, the Tommy Tom Show. But we've had just like some really great acts, from local acts like just all kinds of local singer-songwriters to sort of more regional level, like, Mark from Shaky Feeling has done a couple shows. And, we were going to have Chris from Humphreys on, but unfortunately that was the day there were riots here in Santa Monica. So unfortunately I had to cancel that day. Ugh.
Yeah.
We're going to postpone though. But it's been a really neat, trying, frustrating, and rewarding experience with the Psychedelic Sunday live stream series. And so hopefully, you guys will turn in this Sunday. We're going to do it every week for the end of the month. And then since it is summer, I think I'm going to start pulling back to just doing a monthly series for July and August, and then just see what happens after that. But we are hitting every week for the rest of the month. Also, I have gone ahead and tried to sell some t-shirts during this time, and I think a lot of people have really enjoyed the t-shirt. I'm going to go grab it.
Grab your t-shirt. If you look at your screen, if you're watching this, look at your screen, you see in the upper right hand corner, let's see, it's over, where is it? It's over Eric's head in my screen, but there's a PayPal link, and there's a Venmo on the bottom. There it is. If you scan those and make a donation today during this show, I will split it with Psychedelic Sunday and Curbside Concerts. We'll just do a 3-way split of any donations that come in during right now, and donate, give, and we'll keep these things going, because we all need to keep the ball rolling. That's my little pitch right there. And nice. You can buy a t-shirt.
Yeah, you can get a t-shirt. Billy's got some new hats.
I do. They're available on the website, shakedownnews.com.
That's right.
They say just got to poke around on the back.
Those are really cool.
Yeah, I'll send you one.
I also have been doing a lot of live streams with my neighbor, Rich Sheldon. When you go into this quarantine, you're forced to just hang out with your your immediate family, and I guess forced is kind of a weird way to say it, but we're so used to being out there in the world and experiencing and intermingling with people, and then all of a sudden all you see is your family or your neighbor. And so besides my fiance Rebecca, I've been able to, luckily in my inner circle right here out from my front door, like literally 10 feet away, is my neighbor Rich Sheldon, who's a very active local musician. They call him the hardest working man in show business. I mean, he's one of those guys that's out there 6 days a week, 10 shows a week over 6 days. Like, he's always working. And so I've been playing with Rich off and on as one of his go-to drummers for the last 10 years. And so we've been able to do, I think we did like 30 live streams in 2 months or something like that. We were going at it like 4 days a week doing live stream concerts. And it was really a really interesting thing. It was really cool to be able to connect to people and feel that love and that connection. But also it's very, as anyone who live streams knows, it's very bizarre when you end a song and it's just like, all right, huh? You
don't get the applause.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it was fun playing with Keith. Keith. It was fun playing with Rich, and we called our band Keith Richard, which was kind of just an amazing name.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Tomorrow again, Zach Nugent, and I pulled that down. So it's Zach Nugent at 4:00, and then it'll go till 8, 9.
We'll go to like 8-ish. Sometimes it goes a little bit later, like 8:15, and that's all Pacific time. So obviously, if you're in the East Coast, you can tune in. We do it at Spin Cycle Presents Facebook page and YouTube, as well as the Busking Down the House Facebook page and YouTube. I partnered up with them because we just Spin Cycle and Busking Down the House just makes a lot of sense together. We have a lot of common interests, and so we partnered up for the Spin Cycle series. So you can check it out on either of those pages. Obviously, it's going to be on Zach's page too if you want to go directly there. So a lot of options to check things out tomorrow. I also wanted to mention, Billy, while I have time here, one of the things, I think I'm going to start a poll, and I'm interested to hear your guys' feedback too while we're here about, Eric had mentioned, what are people's thoughts and feelings about coming back to see live music, whether it's at a small venue or a large venue? And I feel like I'm very, very interested. So I almost feel like I need to put on a poll and just kind of start a conversation about, I think in general, like you see some people go out, I've heard like they're not, they're not wearing face masks and they don't give a crap about it. And then there's other people that are still very, very cautious and like really, are very, very aware that there's this deadly disease out there. And even if they're not worried about themselves, they're worried about others. And there seems to be everyone sliding in between. So my question to you guys, and then I'll probably put a poll out to get more of something from, the audience or the people in the world is what are people comfortable with? Are they comfortable with like coming back to the same venues that they always saw shows at? Are they wanting new opportunities like private backyards or like parks or are they what are their concerns? Like would they come back out if it was 50% capacity, or is that still too many people in an enclosed space? So what do you guys think about that?
Post in the comments. Let us know right now.
Okay.
Who's watching right now.
There's other elements too. How do people feel about getting their temperature taken when they walk into a room?
I think that's a great idea.
There's so how do people feel about when they're in a venue, staying at your designated table and not being able to wander around? A big part for people here is not just the music, but the scene and the extended family from that. And it's tough, but at the same time, something's better than nothing, right?
Right.
So,
Exactly.
It's what a crazy world.
It is crazy, and the desire to be like physically there and having the music hit you in the face and like really experience it is it's quite the thing. But what I'm missing is that just the live it's happening right now experience. Not necessarily physically being there, but and I enjoy watching the replays of old shows, but I wish more. I would like to see bands and venues put on a show as you know, here's so and so live from the Mint. I don't care if there's anybody in the audience at all, but I want to see it happening right now. As it like Electric Waistband is doing that on Mondays from Winston's, as a matter of fact. And you get to tune in and actually see the live show on the real stage with the lights and the sound and the experience, like you're there, but you're still safe at home. Now, I'll go out when it's time to go out, and I'll socially distance myself when I do, with a face mask properly attached to my face. But I'd like to see kind of the next step be actual live shows from venues, whether there's an audience there or not.
That's happening.
Yeah, I know, but not as much as I'd like to see.
More and more. And, Live from Out There started with it, and they had some bands that were doing it in real time. And I know many venues around the country who have been working hard to set that up. And then as certain artists are ready to go do that, then we're going to see that more and more as this transition starts to happen. It's not going to just be a snap your fingers and live back where it was. That's going to be part of the trickling back to things. When artists and crew members are actually comfortable to get together, even if they don't live in the same area, and do it. I mean, the Humphreys guys just got together and they just did.
Yeah, I saw that.
They were just since we were just talking about Joel, and they actually got back together. They live in different areas and they did it. So some bands are going to be ready for that before others. That's the way that it goes.
Another point for me too, as a promoter and anyone who does talent buying or promotions, you got to understand that many times that there's this number where when you add up the band guarantee and the marketing costs and everything and the lighting guy and everything that you got to spend in order to put on a show, typically you need about 50-60% capacity just to hit that break even mark. And then then everything above that is where the band and the promoter and the venue and everyone starts turning a little bit of profit for their work. And the problem is if you're capped at 50% capacity or 60% capacity, it's very difficult for talent buyers or bands or promoters or anybody to actually even have any opportunity to make money. And then there's a point where it's like, well, how's all this energy and all this effort and energy going to go? What band wants to show up and not make any money? So that's a very difficult situation. Oh,
come on, they're all in it for the art, man.
We're gonna see 2 shows in one night. We're gonna see stuff like that. So on a half capacity, 50 plus 50 is 100. So we're gonna see that's a little extra work for what's potentially the same money, or it's gonna be shorter shows. Instead of a 2-set show that a band would normally play, it's a set for each one. And if some people want to buy tickets for both, then they do. And there's gonna be other creative solutions. There has to be.
And I also think people might be willing to pay 50% more or whatever it is for a ticket if they know that, hey, man, it's a limited engagement,
Yeah. What do you think about the drive-in concerts? Like they drive your car in, park it, put it. Spafford just did one, and I know there's a couple of bands that are talking about doing it coming up real soon.
They're going to be happening all over the country.
I think really going hard on that and setting all that up in a major way, from what I've heard.
The electric or the Magic Beans just did their Beanstalk Festival, I believe, at a drive, or they either did it or they're doing it. They did it, yeah. So I know it's popping up, it's happening. I think it's a cool concept. I think it's a great idea.
It is good. Yeah. It is good, and people are able to get out of their cars but stay right in the area of where they are and be able to dance right there.
Yeah, you just fence off your little area.
It's a step.
Yeah,
it's a step. I mean, it's not necessarily ideal, but better that than nothing. And there's actually going to be something very cool about what those are, and something special about what those are.
Yeah,
and you think about it. In the hope that, X amount of time from now, when the world's back and we look back on what this was and the people who did get to experience that as something unique, then it's people will be looking back fondly on it. People will be enjoying in the moment right now too. So
yeah, I think it's I think it's something that should keep going even after this. The drive-in, the resurgence of the drive-in, whether it's a movie or a concert at a drive-in, I think it's kind of cool. A lot of the Southern California drive-ins have turned into swap meets, and they don't even show movies anymore, which is sad. But they've taken the drive-ins and convert them into flea markets and swap meets, and they're slowly converting them back to drive-ins now because people want to go see the movies, you know, and I think concerts there would be. I'd like to see that happen in Southern California. I know it's happening in other places, but here it's not quite there yet. I don't know why, but
I don't even know of many drive-in movie locations in Southern California. I'm sure they're out there. I just, I don't know where they are.
Oh man, as soon as this came up as soon as this hit the radar, I started researching where they are. There's quite a few inland. There are virtually none in Orange County that I know of. There's a couple kind of between LA but that's a lot of real estate. A drive-in is a lot of physical real estate. And in Southern California, real estate is primo. So, if you want to, I think people would probably rather have a housing tract or a condo or an office building than a drive-in movie theater on that amount of space. But
it's a lot to chew on, and you'd have to be pretty positive that you're going to be drawing, the numbers you need to be able to pull off that kind of production. But I saw what Spafford did in Phoenix, and that was really impressive. And I've kind of tuned into a few different things that have been going on, and it is really cool. And I've always said that if someone's doing it and wants, needs a promoter, give me a call. I'm not really that interested in leading that project per se.
Fish is doing something with Higher Ground, where they're gonna. I don't know whether it's gonna be them. I saw the story this week, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're screening it at a drive-in. They're screening
screening their drive-in dinner and a movie. It's not a live show. It's just
it's a great idea.
Yeah, that's great. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's coming up. But this week, Fish is since we're here, and this is the recap portion that I normally do. But I want you guys to hear this because Fish this week is doing 95 Deer Creek as their dinner and a movie on Tuesday night, which is my first Fish show, and I'm very very excited.
Nice.
I remember very little from that Fish show just because it was so many moons ago, and I had no idea what I was getting into when I went, and when I walked out, I still didn't know what I got into. I knew it was something different, but I'm glad many years later that I'm finally going to be able to watch my first show.
That's cool.
Even if it's just from my living room. Yeah. So that's tonight. We got Dead and Company doing Lock-In from 2018. They're set from Lock-In with Bradford Marsalis, so that should be good. That comes up in about 40 minutes. On your respective streaming services. And I know there's a bunch of other stuff coming up this week, but I can't think of it. And anything else before we say goodbye to our audience that you guys want to add before we sign off? No?
Thanks so much for having us.
Eric, thank you. Keith, thank you. I can't wait to see you guys faces in person and share a beer and talk about how we spent COVID. PTF got anything planned for the curbsides? You guys gonna do any?
For curbside? No, we're still all pretty serious about social distance right now. But, we're getting poked here and there about maybe doing something, and we're talking about it, but nothing to report for you right now.
Right on. Well, I promised when I first started doing this, I promised Vin that I would do a whole show dedicated to lighting, and it's still there. I'm still going to do it, and I'm going to have him on here to talk about lighting with a few other my lighting friends, because who doesn't want an hour and 15 minutes of us nerding out about illumination?
Dude, Billy, our friend here in Southern California, one of my good friends, his name's Prince. You know him very well.
I do.
We were talking the other day. He's like, I'm talking about how much he misses live music and lights. And he's like, if I can't hire a band or go see a band anytime soon, I just need to hire Billy Sunday to come to my apartment, set up his light, blast the music, and hit me into lights in my face. So that way I can feel that.
That's awesome. That would be great.
Yeah.
Oh, well, guys, again, thank you so much. Thank you all for tuning in. Please, if you're on the YouTube, please click the subscribe button. If you're on the Facebook, click the like button. And come over and hang out at the Shakedown News page and read all the cool stuff I put up there during the week. And come back next Saturday where we'll be here. And normally I don't know who's going to be on, but next week I know because I booked it 2 weeks ago because he was only available this coming Saturday. And we're going to talk Grateful Dead taper section for an hour with the one and only Charlie Miller. So you guys know Charlie. Charlie's been taping the Grateful Dead for a long time, and he has a wonderful collection of audio, and I'm sure we'll play some of it, and we'll talk early taping up to now and what it's done for the business and all that kind of stuff. So that's it. Thank you guys again. Thank you, Internet, for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Y'all be good.
See ya.